I'm going to take a break from being in front of my music equipment, and my husband's birthday is tomorrow, so I got him some flowers. I'm gonna just do a quick arrangement while I talk music, if that's okay. Yeah, I was looking into Logic Pro X, and yes, you can get it. Now they have accessibility on your iPad. 1 month is free, and then you'll have to pay monthly subscription every month for Logic Pro X. So it's entirely up to you guys. Like I said, GarageBand is generally the same type of thing. The new updated version of GarageBand on your iPad and your iPhone are pretty intense, pretty realistic, and as pretty close as you can get for free to Logic Pro X, as I said. It's entirely up to everybody's decision. My theory is if you're starting off and you're looking into learning how to compose, GarageBand will be the best solution. If you're already at a certain level and you're past just recording and practicing and all that stuff and testing it out, then Logic Pro X would be your better option. Yeah. Tomorrow is his birthday. I love cooking and getting flowers for him and gifts and goodies. So today is the pre-planning of, I guess I'm gonna make him a salmon dish with Thai sauce. I do cook as well. And yeah, I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. So I grew up in a family where flowers and decorating was a big thing. My mom loves to decorate, and I think my dad enjoyed getting the flowers. So in my case, I enjoy decorating and getting the flowers. That's my thing. And we got these from one of Brandon's friends' homes. They were, it's a bit of a tequila bottle. Empty, but they're gorgeous, and I'm using the bottles that I received from them for flowers, because we're not big drinkers in this house. We just kind of, and this is actually for ice, but it's very nice for a flower arrangement experience here. So you guys can watch me do a decoration today. So that is these flowers definitely need to be resolved like ASAP, or else things can go south if I am not cautious or careful. So I have to, it's large at the bottom but very small at the top. So we're big into like artsy stuff in this house, and my husband's actually very into production himself. He works for CBS News, and he actually builds the studio spaces for CBS News in DC. So him and his friends are always tugging away at production stuff and developing offices and all those things, because he's in the IT department. I know, totally different from what I usually do. But it's okay. I have to kind of represent the husband today because it's his birthday tomorrow. So I'm about, oh, I should probably put some plant food in here, right? Before I do anything, let's put some plant food in here. Being creative here. Oh, Brandon said that he used to DJ back in the day, so he was very big into producing and cutting and editing on vinyl, because back in the day we didn't have like the new decks that we have for DJing. So yeah, so today is a representing of Brandon Day, because his actual name is Samalika or Ga. So we're gonna do this. These are great. So don't throw out your tequila bottles. Save them, folks, if you do. We were at his friend's house and they were they were about to chuck them. I was like, don't chuck them, I'm gonna use them. So that's what I'm doing, I'm using them now. His lifestyle, he was very into production and DJing and all that stuff when he was younger. We're still young. He still claims he's 16, so I will represent him for being 16 now. Going back into recording and Logic Pro X. Logic Pro X you can get on your iPad, so that will be my next move. I first want to make sure that I have my tracks on Spotify before I start doing that. Because I'm going to start experimenting with Bluetooth and portable recording studio. Because I would eventually really like to just start going out and about with it. I work for myself. I don't work for a company. I do Poshmark. So Poshmark ambassador too. So I'm also in, I guess to some extent, the fashion or sales in promotion and all that stuff for myself. My dream was to actually have not just a recording studio, but to have a fashion house to go with the recording studio. So I'm all about the fashion element of stuff. And from my experience being in recording studios, and usually guys would own them, right? I'm a little OCD. I want to make sure that things are clean and organized and set up and tidy. And if you have a fashion house, because I've worked for designers before, and you have a recording studio, the fashion house would kind of need to be organized and kept together and tidied, because you don't want to have sticky fingers and all that stuff on materials and stock and all that stuff. And then the recording studio has to maintain its cleanliness as well, because you sort of have to put both together. I lived in Japan, I grew up in Japan, and Japan, everything is about hygiene. And after COVID, I'm all about making sure that hygiene is kept. We even take our shoes off. So if I had, when we have a larger space in a recording studio setup, I would definitely have people take their shoes off. I even drew out a sketch of what my plan is to have a studio, as to what it looks like and how it's going to be set up. Plus the cost. It's very expensive having a studio space. You're looking at, if you're going to do a full-on recording studio space, you're looking at a space that would cost probably no less than $300,000. If you're thinking portable, you don't have like a ton of money, you then, like me, I kind of dabble with both. I can build it, but I can also work with a smaller space. So yeah, you got to have the money for a proper studio space. So I guess that's the talk for today. And I guess it's just important for everybody to know that there's, you can have a studio space from home, but if you're going to do a proper studio space, it does have to be at a certain standard and a level. So that's a lot of stuff to also consider. Studios cost a lot of money. If you're going to potentially look at being a full-on producer, I'm still building myself up. I am not there yet with a full-on studio. I am still building my equipment. It will happen, but you can start small like I am, and you can also build your own soundproofing, and I have a whole list of costs and evaluations of what it's going to take to produce a larger studio. Or you simplify it and maybe don't overspend and start with a small setup, which is what I have. Right now I have a very small setup, and we're going to work towards a larger setup eventually as it goes along, but it does not happen overnight. I am 43 years old and I still have a very long way to go. I might do a video later on about what I'm cooking tonight. Since I love cooking. I have all these dishes that I've made for cooking, and I haven't really gotten into it yet on a channel, but over time, I might look into that next. If so far people are loving the dishes. But yeah, so I would do a full-on, I wouldn't just focus on music. I don't focus just on music because, you know, you have to generate money somehow, and I don't make tons and tons of money on music at the moment. I switched over from music to, well, from art to fashion to music, and then back to like music fashion type of scenario. I had lost my job during COVID, working in a music school. It was sort of like good that it happened because I think I'm so OCD, I couldn't handle working with students and places that were just not hygienic. And hygiene really is a big deal. Look, we saw what happened in COVID during the COVID times, and we all need to put into consideration that that is like the first and foremost into keeping yourself healthy and clean and tidy. So I'm on a different spectrum. That's why I like fashion, because it's all about hygiene. So if you mold the two together with hygiene and fashion, I'm on a different kind of spectrum. I don't just make money doing music and teaching music, but I make money with my fashion. I do also make clothing. I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm not trying to be a normal recording studio where everything looks like a studio space, but I also want the fashion house. So I also need to focus on my fashion stuff too, which is why I like clothing. So that's my other thing. I do sell things if you guys are interested in purchasing items that I've made or paintings I've worked on. You can find those on, my Poshmark. And you can see my other things on the other websites if you guys want to take a look. Today's just a day to talk about life. Please like and subscribe. I know it's been a little bit more of a plant day today. I'm coming from a different perspective. I've never just wanted to be a recording studio setup. I wanted something a little bit different. And I don't think everybody has the same goals in music as others. So, you know, being authentic and original and who you are is the most important and valuable lesson you can ever learn in life. Is you don't want to be what other people want you to be. You want to be who you are. And the same thing applies to music that you do. You don't want to copy other people. You want to try to be as authentic and original as you can be, or else, once again, going back to the copyright issues, you don't want to have any copyright problems. That's a big concerning issue, because you will be flagged in wherever you use the music. So it becomes necessary to be a little bit more original, right? And GarageBand, if you're doing loops, make sure that the loops that you're producing are, you don't make them as authentic. Don't make them you can use them for public use. You just want to make sure that they don't sound like somebody else's piece, or else, once again, that will be flagged as well. So yeah, this is, like I said, today's a flower day for me. But my goal is to be fashion and music. Even though everybody says focus on just the music on this video, I think once in a while I can bring in my fashion elements to the space, because my life doesn't just revolve around music, it revolves around the fashion side too. And I just, every time I sell an order, I need to make sure that it's packaged right, like a designer would, and everything is set up accordingly, or it just doesn't look fashionable. That's why I'm all into the clothing as well. That is today's arrangement making day. Like and subscribe. Yeah, just my husband's birthday is tomorrow, so I want to make sure that everything looks really cool and pretty and ladylike. and the food's gonna be good. I'll cook a little dish tonight, maybe film it and show you guys what I'm up to, and how my dishes look. So maybe a restaurant in the like recording studio eventually. I don't know. I have so many plans of visualizing this space that's not going to be like everybody else's. That my whole life has been about making sure it's not like everybody else's space. And I've been into quite a few recording studio spaces, and they're always dark, and they're always in a corner or an alcove, and there's no lighting, and I like to breathe oxygen. So my space will definitely have a couple of windows in different places accordingly. Thank you again, and see you guys in the next one.